I want to very quickly talk about, and when I say very quickly, my phone has 6% battery, so this is going to be actually very quick. But I want to talk about a dynamic approach to, how can I say this, to your synchronicity. So what does that mean? When we hear the word synchronicity and when we hear the word alignment, what does that mean? What does it mean when I talk about flows? Life has flows. Well, I could tell you that you need to take a dynamic approach to this and see that everything is changing. You see that death is change. When you see change, then you realize simply you're controlling a certain amount of changes throughout this time that you're alive to the time you look at yourself in a different way. Okay? So now this is the way you're looking at it. Therefore, I want to suggest as some of the things, some ideas that are present which can be very helpful if we understand. So, you know how sometimes when you get sick, your body's recovering? When you literally get cut, your hand has a wound, the blood clots, your body heals you. Therefore, you have this system that is healing this smaller process of change. In other words, taking care of that form, right? So in life, there are greater systems. We are simply the fingers connected to different palms, And in other words, our ability is more than we can contemplate at this point with the human idea. The human idea can only capture a certain range of realness. Afterwards, it has a different presence, and it always has had that presence. In other words, your flows in life is literally what you call your bad luck or your good luck or anything in that area. What does that mean? If you feel you have good luck, perhaps let's right now give a meaning that means you have a good flow, for example, right? But not everything that comes to you is good. For example, sometimes something bad comes to you, but eventually you go good. So literally, conditions are moving towards you, and you are creating conditions of existence for yourself by analyzing what kind of life you're living and where you're heading. You are a dynamic process. You're a moving process. Therefore, there's always movement. All I'm suggesting that's similar to the body, for the human being, there are adjustments. There are flows in which, as if this greater sense of being is trying to take care of its minute considerations of being. It's part of God is here. In other words, I'm saying that energy that is God is aligning itself. There is an alignment to life. There is a geometry to the stars. There is a number that can break all numbers. It can be infinite. In other words, I'm suggesting that your life is your potential to become anything you want. Literally anything you can work with. You can create life the way you want it to. But what that means is it's not the way your personality always wants it. In other words, you need to understand you have a personality, you have taste, there's some things you like, some things you dislike, and you're working with that. Therefore, you need to see the flows in which your likes are coming from and your dislikes. You need to observe your state of being. When you observe your state of being, you can feel some of the things attracting to you before they attract. Don't think that there's a law of attraction going on by itself without you being able to understand it. When you understand law of attraction, you simply know what you are creating in your life. So the creation comes, even though in physical reality it works with a delayed tempo, let's say, but it comes to you. In other words, if I literally think about the idea of food, I will gravitate opportunities to eat food, for example, So in other words, you are attracting something. And it's sometimes a natural process. In other words, your body is attracting your mind to go look for food, for example, survival, The body has a very interesting system which our ideas are still trying to understand. It's as if our body, as Alan Watts said brilliantly, is one with everything else. It knows, the heart knows the beat in which this life is, Therefore, flows are being observant of your change and seeing what changes are occurring more in your life. Is it physical changes? I have found that when you can make many internal changes or be aware of internal changes, in other words, your ideas changing as much as physical things are, and you become more capable in knowing what you're gravitating. In other words, intuition becomes a self-awareness to what you are attracting to yourself, and you know what you're attracting on some level, you know? Your body knows when it's hungry that food is required. You know, there are these systems of want that are naturally developed and passed down from the ape, you know? Man's mind is always an evolving process, both in an idea realm and in a physical realm. Therefore, to take this to the idea of flows and dynamic activity, there are always flows. There are things happening in your life. Don't think that if you stop doing anything for a while, you will literally see these processes of change. You will, if you don't do anything for a week, you will literally see what you were attracting from before. You see cycles of attraction in the relationships you're going and the relationships you have with anything, right? So, to be observant of flows means you need to have the greatest day by suggesting, by knowing it's your greatest day, you know? We don't want to be ideas that are creating depression for ourselves and then, you know, trying to act as if we're not depressed. Forget that. Every day you wake up, it's a new day. The concept of new is unknown, and it's beautifully unknown. It's unknown for a reason, right? Experience your day fully, and you will literally see you no longer want to go buy video games from the store, the newest video game. It's as if ideas don't handle this thirst you have for experiencing life. When you're there, abundance comes. Abundance is always what you're given after you go beyond your comfort zone. You have to change and let the ideas of you change, you know? What that means if you think you're incapable, you're a loser, whatever, you have bad luck, you have this shit, you have that, you know, you have all these negative things happening to you constantly. If you have that baggage with you, it's going to be very hard to walk. You don't need that baggage. Wake up every morning and be as if I am going to discover the abundance that's gravitating towards me. And make sure you don't have any grudges or ill intentions to everyone. Guys, clean that slate. Literally clean yourself from grudges, pain, and detach from the ideas of those conditions. The problems you remember become a problem in your life. Therefore, understand and be aware that some ideas do not need to be present. You don't need a lot of problems in your life. Life is a knowing process. It's the known going into the unknown and always being its knowing. You know what I mean? We are explorers. An explorer is a healthy life, especially now in regards to experience. And that's why experience always matters. It's not how well, for example, you run a business. It's how you know how really to work in that way, you know? Therefore, do not get caught in circumstances which you haven't looked at enough. Because sometimes when you look at a condition, you realize we're never in that condition. It's like, you're like, oh, I'm an, let's say, addict, or I'm a, you know, a failure, or I'm a whatever. It's like you're keeping that condition mentally alive. Do not keep it mentally alive. Keep your mind non-judgmental and aware of where it is. Have silence in your ears before you hear the noise. Hear the silence first, and then hear the stillness before you move. Gratefulness then becomes an experience. It's no longer like, I'm grateful for this, for that. It's like you are so grateful because you're going at the peak of your experiential change. And it's an amazing process that never needed to be looked at or judged. You don't need to think where your God is hiding. You need to know that it's with you, it's here, it's in you, it's present. If God created everything, He also created a present for you. He created union because it was union. Because the Creator and the creation were never a story. They were here. They were always present. Elevation begins, in my view, when you are aware of everything in life that's helping you climb your mountain, trying to get to where you are. Back in the day, before they went to a forest to hunt, for example, Native Americans, they would thank the spirit. They would thank these flows of life's expression, you know, for what they brought. and it would happen smoothly. So what I am suggesting now in regards to synchronicity, if you are seeing a lot of coincidences happen to you, if you are aware of phone calls before they are made to you, if you are tuned into different dimensions of your experience that are naturally happening, you are comfortable. You know that you're always lucky. You know your heart is beating. You know it's a natural process, and through that you become your own gift. And you'll realize you were always gifted. Thank you.